Omar, how you going, my friend?
Daryl, there he is. Very good, my friend. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How's lockdown treating you, man? This is so strange. It's weird. I said to everybody, I am anti doing podcasts remotely, but it's just gotten to the point now, mate, if you don't do it, you're not going to get any fucking podcasts done. So here we are. I thought I'd better catch up. And it's been a while. Last time I saw you, you came on one of my Bachelorette podcasts and gave me a hand there.
That's right. That was fun, a lot of fun. And I've actually been keeping up to date with those as well. So well done. That looks like that was a lot of fun as well. Like all of that, everything about The Bachelor and stuff. Yeah, it looked great.
It's such a weird world. Speaking of weird worlds, man, you've just got engaged. Congratulations.
I did. Thank
well
you very
done,
much.
you.
Clap because I need it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Where'd you do it? You were over in the UK, or Europe or something?
I was in the UK. That's where we just went over to the UK just to go to my fiance's brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And of course you didn't know, but then after this we were going to go to Rome, we were going to go to Spain, we were going to go do some bits and pieces. But of course the day that we went, all the hot spots, like the day that we were going to go to Italy was the day that they locked everything down. So... Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so there was a lot happened there, mate. It was very confusing for all of us.
Yeah. But no, so what was the problem? You had some problems getting back into the country? Is that right?
No, we were going to stay there for a bit longer.
Yeah.
But then it was basically... No, we were okay, but if we stayed in the UK for any longer, my partner wouldn't have been able to come back in.
Right.
So she would have had to stay or fly all the way back to the UK or something. Not too sure what was going to happen.
Why is that? Why is she? Was she on visa or something?
Well, she's English.
Right. Gotcha. Oh, yeah. And they would have made her stay because of all the happy viruses that are going around. Right.
All that virus stuff that was going on. So, so we decided we came back and we're lucky because we were in lockdown, in self-isolation for a week before everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just maniac, man. Like over on the other side of the world, not knowing what was going on anywhere. It was just ridiculous. Nobody knew what was happening, and it just kept on spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
You know, 2 days prior to 2 days, any day, we were like, oh, it's going to sort of go away. Nothing's going to happen. Then lockdown here. Italy's shut down. Then over here, everything's just shut down. So it just became, just a headache, mate. But no, it was good. It was what it was, and it was good to be home. Though it's good to be back in New Zealand. I think if anywhere in the world, I'd rather be here.
That's exactly why I see it too. A lot of people complaining, "Oh no, we're stuck indoors. What are we going to do? We can't travel anywhere." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, mate, we're stuck in New Zealand. The rest of the world wants to be stuck here. What are you worried about? And
Totally.
where are you going to go for holiday?
Totally.
Oh fuck, I don't know. 95% of the rest of the country, anywhere. You know, I think we're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
We're damn lucky to be here. And the result, today's results, only 5 new cases. Not bad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I think 1 or 2 deaths. But it's been fun. Just going on that a little bit. It's been a bit funny with the whole Corona thing, with the news and that they've been talking about the deaths, but because they're all old people, like people 70 plus, they're on their way out anyway. I'm not trying to sound like a mean prick, because these are people's families are upset about this. But
you're sounding like a mean prick, sure.
I'm sounding like a mean prick, but I'm kind of relieved that it's only been, we know who's getting to who's more susceptible to this, and and it's not too many people that are going, and we've been pretty lucky, and we're just a hearty bunch down here. I think we're doing pretty well. Yeah, but you got stuck.
I think we're doing fantastic as well.
Yeah, you got quarantined on the way back, didn't you, for 14 days? But it didn't matter because you were just in this. Yeah.
No, so I've just been about, I think it's about 8 days ahead of the rest of New Zealand. So I've been in it for 8 days longer.
Yeah.
That's been basically it. It's been good though. Like, it's been nice to see people, the transition. Like for me, the first week was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Bought myself a PlayStation because I was able to do that.
Yeah.
I was able to go out quickly to get it. Like the Wednesday that we arrived, because they say with the quarantine, it's so weird, man, because when we arrived, they said, right, you guys are self-isolated. You can't leave. You can't talk to anybody. You got to stay home starting tomorrow. So we're like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, so today you can go on a bus, you can get an Uber, you can go to the supermarket if you want to, but please, if you need to buy a PlayStation, go buy a PlayStation. I'm like, that makes no sense whatsoever. So it's sort of like blindfolded for one day, and then then the next day, so it officially started on the Thursday. So that was very weird. So the Wednesday we went shopping, got everything, and then for that first week we just stayed indoors, caught up with the bit of the jet lag, and because freshly in this commitment now for life, it was good to just sort of be with each other and just be with one. So that was quite cool, and it's just been good to see the progression of what's been happening and how people have been catching up to the emotions from week to week, because it is different. Everyone starts off with a bit of where are we, how is this going to work, a bit of fear, doubt, oh my god, I've got to be we're going to get cabin fever, we're going to be stuck in here with my family. And then it starts to move from there, which is really cool. And then you start to just finding yourself, grounding yourself, reading those books, doing that sort of stuff. But then now I'm starting to see, getting desperate. Everyone wants to sort of get out. And, I haven't seen anyone different. And every time I see someone different like yourself, I get very excited because I'm like, oh, wow, there's someone else apart from my bubble or my neighbors and things like that. It's fantastic.
How big's your bubble? How big's your bubble?
I don't even know how to compare it, but it's quite small. It's just me and my partner. That's it.
Just
my fiance.
Just the two of you.
Just the two of us. Just the two of us and a cat. So I'm sick to death of the cat. And I can see my neighbors. My neighbors are over there, and I can see what they're doing. And my next door neighbors, they've got this massive house, and they're demolishing it. So I'm seeing their progression and, standing from the window here from my office looking down and giving my opinions. Nah, don't do that, mate. Paint that one. Don't do that. And move that bridge out the way. So it's been, you're just trying to keep that. That's my bubble, basically. And also around Parnell, I've just been walking. That's all you can really do apart from, gym at home or whatnot.
Yeah, you've been keeping sane though. Just the two of you. It's the same with me. It's me and my girlfriend and the dog. We've got a little pug, and
cute.
But it's cool. It's good having a pet though, because you can. It's like a neutral person. It's just in the middle there, and whenever things are getting a little edgy, you just look at the pug and they're like, oh, the pug's just sleeping. That's what we should just relax. Everything's cool. The pug's great. We're great. Just relax. But I was thinking about that, how stressful it must be on some couples. Especially couples that have been together for a long time, or new couples that are just starting to work things out. You've got nowhere to go, and you're stuck in not one area, one house, and that's that can be tricky. So it's been all right. This is all worked out. Yeah, no issues, no problems. No, what have you been doing to keep sane?
No, definitely we're coping. Everything's fine. I think, as just following on what you were saying, I think one of the big factors would be if you had kids and keeping them entertained. And I mean, there's a bit of me that's saving grace that we don't have a kid yet. But I've seen like the neighbors and my friends, they've been calling me up. There's a lot of that, and they just feel a little bit like there's just so much. They just got to keep kids entertained the whole time. So that would just be a lot harder than my situation. All I have to do is, if I feel like a bit like cagey, I just go for a walk, or it's all about me and my partner. Let's go for a little bit of a drive to the shop and then back, and that's it. Because that's all we can do. But to keep sane, dude, like I've really just been focusing on the future, and also just focusing on just keeping healthy.
Yeah, you're looking good, man. You're looking lean.
Thank you. Yes, I've started to strip it off. I actually downloaded the Chris Hemsworth app, the Centra. Have you heard of that?
Centra, yeah, I have heard of it.
Yeah. So it's an app that he did, and he actually, the first day of lockdown, such a hero trait, mate. Like after he did this, I was like, oh, Chris Hemsworth, you're just a legend. He did it for free for 6 weeks. So I jumped on board that. I've been doing that, and mate, I've never been flexible like this. I can I'm doing yoga, I'm doing all these bits and pieces, which is good. So for me, that's been something which has been like, I'm learning new things when it comes to working out instead of just doing the standard old same stuff at a gym. Yeah. So it's been good.
Yeah.
Just picking up books that I haven't finished. PlayStation, I haven't had one of those for like 9 years, so I decided to buy one, download all these games. Just keep focused, keep breathing. I think that's the thing. Walking, it's just that sort of the small things. Everything has simplified a lot. Yeah. Which is quite nice. Quite nice. What about you? What have you been doing?
Very similar, actually. Shitloads of DIY. So I'm staying at Holly's place, my girl's place, and she just needed a little bit of work done, and that sort of gives you the push you need to actually go, fuck it, we've got 4 weeks to kill, let's do this. So the day that they announced we were going to go into level 4 in 2 days' time, so this is like a Monday, and we're going to go into level 4 on a Wednesday or Thursday morning, we went straight to Bunnings, and we shopped up a storm, $1,000 worth of paint and paint accessories, and a few other little bits and pieces, and for the first week or two, it took about 2 weeks because we did it in dribs and drabs. We painted the whole house, 3 coats of this beautiful charcoal grey. The place looks amazing, and I can now claim half of it because I've clearly added value to the house. So this is great. No.
So it's not actually your house though, is it?
No, it's hers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm claiming it now. I've added $100,000 value. Come on, man. This is. But apart from that, it's just. Just hanging out, really, getting to know each other, and just finding that balance of not being on each other's backs too much, and a little bit of working out, a lot of walking, heaps of walking. Yeah. I'm not a runner. I hate running. I'm a gym man, right? So running's boring batshit for me. But going for good walks up hills and that sort of stuff, I'm enjoying that. But mate, I cannot wait to get back into the gym. I like heavy things. I like lifting heavy things. That's the thing that makes me feel good, you know. But I think now that we know, as of last night, we've got 3 weeks before gyms open, maybe more. But you know, at this stage,
oh really? I did not even know that. I was questioning that. I was like, when will? I'm thinking gyms will open. I don't know what it is, but I was thinking gyms might open when bars open, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
have they said anything about gyms?
Yeah, at level 2. So, before we got into this, we're level 2, and the gyms are open at level 2, so we're bars. So, fingers crossed that they all open up at the same time. We can go for a workout and then get on the piss. It'll be great. It'll be great.
I can't wait for that.
Can't wait. That's probably the thing I miss. The 2 things I miss the most. One, going to the gym and actually doing the workouts that I like doing, and the other one, just hanging out with mates, you know, and and just getting close together and having a few beers and chewing the fat. I think one of the things that's going to come out of this whole quarantine bollocks is it's not going to take it for granted anymore. You know, we're lucky. We live in the greatest time on earth. We're so fucking lucky, and we've got a little bit of a hiccup right now, and this is our challenge. You know, every few generations you got to have a challenge, and this is our challenge. And now we can look at the bullshit and the ease that we live life, and actually have a bit more respect for it. And you know, it could be taken away at any time. So really looking forward to getting back to the bars. It's my birthday in a few days' time, and that's a complete.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, nothing's happening now, mate. I'm just sit at home. But it's fine. We'll as soon as
I think that's right as well.
Yeah.
I think the perspective of it all is. That's the thing, like, and how things dramatically change. No one thought about this. No one took this on board that there's going to be in 2 weeks' time, because it just blew out of proportion. But let's go like a month back. There was a moment where everyone's like, "Oh, this is going to blow over."
Yeah.
Then 2 weeks down the track, everyone was locked indoors. You know, the perspective of that, and you've got no work, or you might not work, you don't know what's going to happen, and that just happened out of nowhere. So I think now everyone's going to, as you say, we're not going to take things for granted, and I think this has given everyone just a moment of just peace, you know, just stay at home, do what you need to do. A lot of people are loving that they don't have to work, and I think that's the next stage of people are going to become better humans, I hope, and they're going to be a bit more, I think, just a bit more, allow more time to their family, because this is what this has done. It's allowed us to be with people and just stay with each other, and that's all we have.
Yeah. I was oddly looking forward to it.
With it.
Yeah, I was oddly looking forward to it. Like when they said, we're going to go into level 4 in a couple of days' time, a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm good with this. I'm good with it. I'm not alone. You know, we're all in the same boat. So I wasn't worried about it. I was like, I think this is a good time for us just to quote unquote meditate, you know, just meditate on life, chill out, give the earth a break, which has happened. It's been quite interesting watching all that sort of stuff. There's dolphins in Venice, or Vienna, wherever they have the canals, and it's cool to see. And I think we all needed this. Mentally, we have had to slow down, and for us, especially in our industry, bro, like in the entertainment industry, we think too much too fast, and it's just slow down, take a break.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Oh, mate, what are you drinking?
So it's a nice little whiskey there, a nice little Jameson, and what I've done is I've started putting kombucha in there just to be healthy.
Stop it!
For the gut for some reason.
Good for the gut. Why not? Heal the gut and the mind.
Why not, man?
Yeah.
And the mind. So I actually like it. It's a bit sour. That was the first sip I've had, but geez, I like it, man. I really, for some whiskey and kombucha goes well together.
What flavor kombucha are you knocking in there? Is it just original plain homemade kombucha, or you got some of that?
No. This is I get the little cans from Countdown, and they're called, what are they called there?
Is it Remedy?
This one's called Blood. No, it's it is. It's Remedy. That's it. That's exactly.
Yeah. They're not bad. They're good.
And this is the blood orange one. I enjoy it.
I might give that a nudge. I like the ginger and what's that stuff that's supposed to be anti-inflammatory? Ginger and turmeric.
Turmeric, yeah.
Turmeric, yeah. Ginger and turmeric is quite nice. I might try that with a bit of whiskey next time. But I feel bad. I'm drinking Lafroig. It's my favourite, and I just feel a bit bad mixing with something.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Smoky.
That is a really nice one. Is that one the 10? Was that the 10-year-old?
It's a 10-year-old, yeah. That's all I could afford at the time.
Yeah, beautiful.
I could spend over $100, but what for? I'll drink it in the same speed. That's all good.
That's it. That's why I go for Jameson, man. Like, there's the new Castmate Jamesons that come out. There's one like a stout and an IPA version of Jameson.
Oh, really?
And what they do is they just barrel it. It's called Castmates, and basically what they do is they barrel it in an IPA barrel, or they do it in a stout barrel.
Yeah.
And so then it's so nice, man. And I mean, Jameson itself is, for me, it's just an everyday drinker, but for the price and what it is, it's one of my favorites. And I always fall back on Jameson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love, whiskey's one of my favorites. And I don't usually mix it around like this, but then the first one I like to, and then I'll go straight. After this one, it'll definitely be on the rocks, which I prefer. Yeah,
I've been indulging a bit more in some of the naughty things in life, because I've been so fucking healthy for the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Now we've taken an opportunity. We've done some baking. I don't normally like cakes and stuff like that, but we've done some baking. And to be fair, my missus is a pretty mean cook and baker, and just coming up with some amazing stuff and enjoying that. So indulging a little bit more on that, and indulging every night. We're just having a few drinks. Sorry, not a few drinks. That sounds alcoholic. Just a cheeky whiskey, maybe a beer, something like that. And it's just nice. It just turns things off a little bit, And it's just nice. It comes with that sort of, let's just relax, just chill out. Don't stress about everything. It's fine. So I've been enjoying life a little bit on lockdown.
Just going back to what you were saying there about like the industry and turning off, or your mind is always just consistently moving, and it is. You're right. Like switching off, turning off, and just being still for a bit has been amazing. Yeah. Not thinking about or chasing things. For me, it was always about a chase, and just trying to get this moving. Trying these auditions, let's do, get that rolling. Let's start making our own projects. Let's do some more podcast stuff. It's just that. How do I do more? And now you can't do anything apart from just stay at home. And if you want to, you can keep learning and do all that. But my mind's very what's the word? It's very neurotic, and it's not neurotic. No, I've got that neuroses around it, so it just basically needs to be moving and grabbing onto things. And it's been interesting to observe that as well, and see how at the very beginning there was that sort of peace and I don't have to do anything. But then I start to notice the agitation, the anxiety around not moving as much. Yeah. And then I just go, well, there's nothing you can do, brain, shut up. And then it just sort of goes, there's nothing we can do, and then it goes away. So I've noticed a bit of controlling of the mind. Yeah. If it's not too
woo-woo,
new agey to say that sort of stuff.
No.
I'm not really that new.
But the thing is, we understand that now. It is new agey to a degree when you think about it in a certain way, but we understand what that means now. And we have no choice but to just calm the fuck down and focus and try to focus. Like for me, I've thought to myself, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do some little passion projects. I'm not chasing the dollar now because I can't. So I'm going to chase, I'm going to build my brand. I'm going to work on some silly little videos. I'm going to do some stuff. And had some nice little putting pen to paper and making some silly little videos. I grabbed all my camera equipment and editing equipment before I came over, and away we went. Idea. And just came out with a few silly little videos, and it's been getting some nice little traction. So I've been enjoying that.
Dude, I really like those videos. And when I had you on my podcast, a lot of my listeners and my viewers, they didn't know who you were, the ones that are overseas.
Right.
And like in Europe, because basically our podcast is like the UK, Germany, USA. New Zealand's number 7 on our list. So there's some people that don't even know what. It's so weird. I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
But I went over to the UK, and my fiance's whole family already knew me, of course, because I'm going to be I'm going to be related, but they also knew it from the podcast, and then all of their friends knew about it. It was very weird. But anyway, just saying that cool. Some people didn't know who you were and didn't know much about The Bachelor, but when you're on my podcast, and then some of them followed you, and they've been watching some of these videos, and like some of my fiance's partners have been saying that stuff is really useful. So what you're doing, and those videos are fantastic. I like them, and so it's great. Nice. Good shit, man.
Cool. Well, that was kind of the idea of it. It was to have a laugh with it, but actually there's an element of seriousness to it. It's like, some of it's actually proper advice, but it's just coming from the way I would put it across. But no, it's good fun. And now it's just like, but to be fair, I'm now like, okay, I want to expand beyond the property, and I want to do some stuff outside here with some more people now. It's just getting a little bit, but I have got that spark again to actually be creative for myself and actually come up with their own projects rather than actually trying to chase the dollar, which has been quite fun. What about you, bro?
Yeah, it has been fun.
Have you been able to carry on some sort of revenue stream during this period? Yeah, I have. So one of my businesses had to shut down. It was an events company. I've been running that for 10 years. Oh, yeah. And so we work with Spark, Westpac, and we basically just do event management for them. But really, we had one of the biggest events that was coming up, which was Sparks. This happens every year. We do their internal events for their family fun day with all of their parents, blah, 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 and all the internal groups. And that's one of our biggest events of the year. That was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, and it's in Wellington, Christchurch, Auckland. And this is the biggest time for us, and everything got cancelled. We had up till August, September all booked. It was supposed to be one of the biggest periods ever. Boom, everything got cancelled. I had acting work that was coming up for me. I had another 3 TVC commercials that I was going to be filming as soon as I got back. Boom, that's why I've got the beards. That's it, because they told me to grow this. Boom, that got cancelled. So I got some other work that went flying out the window as well because their capital just fell through. So I lost pretty much what was going to be one of the biggest years has just plummeted. Everything's gone. So I was like, wow, it doesn't get any worse than that. But we're all in it together, man. We're all in it together. That's the thing. It's like because we're all in this together, there's a support group now, like people like myself, you, and everyone else that we work with. It's just like, look, we're all fucked. So before we have to bankrupt ourselves, let's try and do some things and come up with some ideas. I think that when we come out of this, there's going to be a wave of work for people because content needs to be made, man. There needs to be content. I've already had people, thanks to those stupid little videos I make, people have contacted me about it. And wanting to do little bits and pieces. Yeah, and I'm quite looking forward to that. But, it's we're all pretty much in the same boat. 3 days before we went into level 4, I lost 15 grand in 2 hours in different jobs. I was like, oh, fuck. That's a big chunk of my month, the following month gone, you know what I mean? Yeah. And now it's, now I'm just sitting back here with a microphone, fortunately being able to do this now via the internet. And doing voiceovers from here. So that's been quite good. I've had some revenue coming through as well as the government's helped me out a little bit with that.
I think they all helped us out. And that's correct. Yeah, man, that's it. Everyone's doing it. And that was the thing I thought to myself at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, I went into that place where I thought to myself, oh, this is crap. This is bull crap. I'm losing all this money. But then I was like, well, if I can't be that selfish idiot that is doing that because everybody else is doing that. And there's people that haven't even got that opportunities anyway that now have got no money and they're living off $200. That's it, a week. It's just ridiculous. So apart from, I have been doing voiceovers. I do a lot of like trading, like online trading, stock trading, cryptocurrency trading. So for me, I put a lot of focus in that and just watching the markets and just also applying my knowledge from what I've been learning for like pretty much over 15 years and then just implementing it at this pretty much traders use this as an opportunity when the markets slum this low and you're looking at like 40% losses and you have all these blue chip companies dropping their value. That's when you get greedy, as Warren Buffett says, when people are greedy, when people are fearful, you buy, but when people are greedy, you sell. So that's basically the opportunity that came up. So that has been my source of revenue for basically 4 weeks has been trading, staying up late, early mornings, and also doing that and basically voiceovers. Yeah, that's basically it.
How do you think the economy is going to go when we come out of all this? I mean, how buggered do you think the New Zealand economy is? again, it's a funny one for me because our economy is going to be way, way, way different from when we got into it. And we can say that it's plummeted and all this sort of bullshit, but then so has the rest of the world. So how do we... It's going to be... How do you look at it? How do we... How do we take it all on?
It's very hard, man. I mean, New Zealand, everyone's sort of, like here we're going, New Zealand's handled this very well.
Yeah.
Jacinta has done wonderful things for New Zealand and also has put herself again on the world stage as one of the best leaders in the world. But then at the same time, we haven't got many people, We were sort of, everything's very medium class, we don't have not much poor people. We've got wins, we've got, we've got some bits and pieces. So for me, I don't think we're going to be that bad off compared to like the United States. I mean, it depends. For me, the USA is going to be the one that drops. But then that's the thing. Everything's quite pegged to the USA. Yeah. So because their markets went, we had to go with it. Their dollar's strong. Our dollar's the weakest it's ever been because everyone's now finding the US dollar as a support and also a hedge against all of their losses. It's for me, what's going to come out of this is it's what it's done is it's shaken everything. And it's the people that can survive who have these massive multi-million-dollar businesses which now they're basically bankrupt and they've been shaken out. So it's just shaking the whole world. So I think there's going to be... that we're going to have new habits in play. We're going to have to do certain things. There's so many conspiracy things going out around about stuff, but we don't know. Nobody knows. It's all speculation. I don't really care. But I just think all you can really rely on is you and your neighbors and what you believe in. And I think our government's going to look after us. There's a massive external battle that's happening out there, which nobody really knows what's happening. That's not us. We can't think and forecast. Like this whole thing with oil dropping today, that went into negative 38%. So I mean, that was people are saying that, wow, that's ridiculous. How did that even happen? But it could have been a power play from the US against Russia and Saudis. So we don't know. We think we know, but we don't. So that's
the conspiracies.
From my point of view, is I have no idea.
The conspiracies,
I know, it's ridiculous.
It's bizarre, like the whole China. The one that I do find interesting is that how did China suddenly come out of having COVID so quickly, and everyone else is just plummeting, and all these stocks are dropping, and who's buying all those stocks now? The Chinese. So I don't know. There's a way to look at this. You can look at it in a conspiratorial way. I don't know. It's a bit weird.
Who knows, man? And everyone's going like this was World War III without bombs and nukes and all that. China won World War III. I saw that was something.
That's today, I think.
But at the same time, who knows again if they started this and all this stuff coming out where the markets are reopened and they're just doing that because they want to sort of, I don't know, they want to protect the labs that where this might have. Who knows, man? And it's just ridiculous. And it's just people just trying to blame something. For me, it's just we need an excuse. We need an answer. What is this? It's that. It's his problem. It's that fault. Blame them. It's all about that instead of just like. Is out of our control, really. If it is, that's the case. How are we going to get over this? How do we get through this? I'm only seeing problems, mate. Where are we going? Where are we going?
And the thing that I find the most bullshit about it all is the media seems to fuel this a little bit. Like the news fuels it because the thing that clicks the most is the negativity and the conspiracy and all that sort of thing. And it's just driving me it's driving me up the wall. You go to stuff, you go to the Herald or something, and I'm like, where are these headlines coming from? And then you click on it, and it's almost nothing to do with the headline, or it's a completely different wordplay.
Oh God!
Oh, it's so weird. Like, and the other, like, they're so. I don't like to say. I'm going to say it. It just felt that when we had no deaths, right? When we had no deaths for a long time, we had a lot of cases and no deaths. I just felt like some journalists were sitting like vultures waiting for that death. You know what I mean? This is a few weeks ago when we had none, but they were just waiting. It's like, come on, where is it? Where is it? Come on, we want one. Someone drop. We need it. And it just felt like they were just on edge for the whole thing. And now, like the other day, when we first got into single figures, we had 8 cases discovered, and then we had a death. And it was like all the headlines were about the death and not about the fact that we only had 8 cases. We're crushing that curve. You know, to me, we need some more positivity in the way in the media, more positivity in our news to get us through and to give us a reason to actually carry on. You know, to give us a reason, let us see why we're fucking doing this. You know, and to do that, we need some positive news.
Yeah. Just quickly, just going to apologize for the people out there that can hear that. No, that's not gunfire, and that's not someone getting shot at. That's just my neighbor doing his DIY down there, trying to break down the house that he's doing. You probably can't hear it, but he's just knocking away. And he gets faster. Like before, it used to be knock, knock. Now it's like knock, 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 knock. And he's going nuts. I can see him. He's going red down there. But so there he goes again. I completely agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Oh, there it goes. There goes the chimney. But no, I completely agree. And for me, I've just noticed that they're just over-exaggerating and they're just using these words, which is all clickbait. It's all clickbaity.
Yeah.
And I noticed, I saw something, it was ages ago, where it said that a man died. The way that they pictured this, the way that they did this was a man just went to Disneyland, came back, and then he died from the coronavirus. So they did this big thing, and I don't know what it was for, but then they didn't include what was wrong with him prior.
Exactly.
You know, they didn't even go into that. They did it in headlines. It was all magical. This guy came from Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, and then he died from the COVID-19. And it was like, and he had underlying heart issues. He had bronchitis. He also had cancer in the lungs. There was all this other stuff that came out later on. It was, and that was the thing. And he was a young guy. He was 25 years old. Yeah. But they had to make it was a COVID death. And there's all this other stuff that's going on in the world. Like, I'm just noticing.
But this is the thing with all the deaths. Yeah, it's the thing with all the deaths here. It's like they've all been elderly people. Most of them have had underlying health problems like heavy smoking, or they've got something else in the lung or anything else like that. And it sped it up. It didn't cause it. It sped it up. And we need to know more of that sort of information. Otherwise, it's just like fair, scare. Oh, 3 people dead, 4 people dead of coronavirus. And it's like, well, I want the details of these people. I want to know what these people have got, because it's not the youth. Touch wood in this country so far. It's not the youth. It's not people under the age of 40 who are suffering the worst from it. You know, I do know that some people under the age of 40, it's horrible. Like, it's a shitty disease. But we have the antibodies and we're able to get through that. But they should be focusing a little bit more on what kind of people are more susceptible to it and who's been dying from it. That's in my mind.
I think, that's right. But then it's also such a weird disease, because it's sort of, it goes into you and it stays in there. You know, and we don't know what happens to it. So we may have it right now, and our signs are not, because we don't have any underlying heart diseases, or we're not of that age. That's why I think Italy got hit very hard, because they've got most old people, you know, living in a household. And it's not only them, they've got generations, so many different, 4 to 5 different generations of that family living in the same household.
On top of each other.
Exactly, in the same household, and they're all smokers. You know, they live that fat diet, which is fine. It's good for ketos. But I mean, but it just, and that said, and what I'm actually concerned about, which I think we're going to start seeing soon, is the vapors. Because we had that little pandemic that happened right before all this took flight. We had so many things that happened last year, which was ridiculous, that led to this. The trade war, Chinese, Kobe Bryant. There was all this stuff that happened. It's been a ridiculous year if you think about it. And so then we had that pandemic with all that viruses and those kids, you know, having those THC vapes. And
that's right,
so all of that came out, and there was so many deaths, and like the USA were going to ban it, New Zealand were going to ban it, but then there's been so much progress with people not smoking, moving on to vaping. But of course, vaping now, Juul is owned by these cigarette companies. But all those kids that have been vaping, I vaped for a bit, and dude, my lungs have never got back to what they used to be because of vaping. Oh, definitely, man. I've lost the capacity of my lungs. Even when I used to smoke, I didn't smoke all the time. Only when I went social smoking. But then as soon as I went to the vape, I noticed every time I woke up from a social vaping session with my friends or whatever, the next morning I would wake up and my lungs were so heavy, man. And I felt it was ridiculous. And then it just got worse and worse. And there were some issues that I felt going on. And the vape, something does it to your lungs. And ever since then, I can't really run anymore due to the amount of oxygen in my, but they do your checks, they're like, everything's fine. But I've just noticed internally, and it sometimes makes me feel crazy, because doctors are like, nah, mate, you're healthy as crap. I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't run anymore. I can't do what I used to do. And they're like, nah, you're getting old and fat. I'm like, I'm losing the weight, mate. I'm losing the weight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. But that's something to look out for.
Yeah. I wasn't terribly worried about it. Part of me, and this sounds weird, I was kind of like, oh, I just want to get it. Can I just get it so that I've got it? I've got the antibodies. I'll be healthy in 2 weeks' time. That's a bit naive of me to say, but I'm a moron. But there is a slight pinch of logic to it. It's just that, well, if we've got it, hopefully I'm young enough and healthy enough because I'm feeling pretty fit. I will get over it and carry on, and I've had it, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm just sitting here waiting. Because there was that whole herd immunity theory going out there. And in a strange kind of way, I think there's logic to it, but also once I found out about the curve and squashing the curve and all that sort of thing, and the pressure on how I realized that it's the worst thing in the world to do. But that was kind of my mentality for me. It was like, oh, if I get it, and it'll be fine, and I'll get over it, and I won't have to worry about it anymore. But I can tell you,
and also Sweden is the guys that did that. They haven't done anything. Yeah. And if you look at their curve, it's fine. They're actually dropping. I posted something 2 days ago about it because they had a chart from 4 weeks ago to now, and Sweden is comparably better than the rest of the countries that have gone on lockdown.
And so that's what's weigh it up. That's what's strange. Like, it depends what curve you look at. Some people are putting up curves in Sweden, and it's like, oh my god, they're fucked. They're all like, look, it's going up. And then some curves are like, no, actually, they've got some of the less. They got the fewest amount of numbers per head of capita in Europe and all this. And I'm like, well, who's telling the truth? Like, everyone's got an agenda and everyone's changing things. No, that's just it. Like, this whole thing. How far do we go? Like, how far are we willing to crash the economy? How far are we willing to destroy social fabric for a disease? Do you know what I mean? It's getting to the point now. It's like, we've done a fantastic job here, and I think we're going to crush it in the next couple of weeks, and that's great. And we're very, very fortunate. But if we weren't, if things were just ramping out of control, or if our economy especially was crashing down so much, and we're all going to suffer massively at the end of it all because of economy, and we're changing the way that we act socially because we're social creatures. How much damage is going on there? And this is where I think governments, they're really crunching those numbers and actually calculating that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that must be the hardest thing to do, man, as a government, as any leader, to try and work that shit out. But I'd be glad to get out of it because I'm a social bunny. You're a social bunny.
Yeah,
we need our people.
I'm a social bunny, mate.
We need people.
Totally, mate. And then, as my psychiatrist will say, if I did with the whole social bunny thing, he'll go, yeah, but you just need to find peace sometimes and just be not social. I'm like, no, but I need it. It's part of being human, isn't it? You need to be and talk to other people. I love it. And I think that's what you see when you go for walks. I've noticed that people are just they're just so desperate and they want to just come over to you and just say hello nowadays. I've noticed people in Parnell, when I usually go for walks, nobody says anything. Nobody goes and says hello, good day. But now, if you try to look down or you try not to look at people, they're just staring at you and going, you're weird. Why do you not want to say hello to me? So I'm just noticing people saying hello, people stop, they keep their distance. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to is hugging people again.
And not having that right.
And having also that little gap, I get sometimes a little bit, I don't know what the word is, a little bit angry and a little frustrated when you're talking to someone, but then they are starting to get very conscious of the social distancing. So they start to just sort of move back slowly and you're like, oh, dude, I don't have it. What are you doing? It's a very weird thing that everyone's got now. It's that consciousness of, am I going to get it from that person, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's very weird, man.
Yeah, it's going to be great when you come out of this. I think I reckon we're going to be more because we are kind of a standoff sort of culture in New Zealand to a degree. We're not like the French or the Italians who are just like hugging a pash every time you meet somebody. For us, it's a bit like, oh, hi mate, you're right. We're standoffish. But you're right. Like going for walks and things, we're keeping the 2 meter distance, but you can see the desperacy in the eyes, and it's just like, hey. And a month ago, I would never have given two shits about that person. I would have been a foot from them and not acknowledged them. But that's changed. It's changed so much, and it's great. I think it's good. I think it's a very, very good thing, and I reckon maybe it'll change our culture when we come out of it. Maybe.
I think so. And just going back to what you were saying about with the government and how hard it would be and what's going to come out of this, the control factor. Lots of people are going on like a government. That's how the government. I can't remember what it was or how the headline was, but I'm sure it was over dramatic. But it was like it was something about how, look what has happened. One little virus and you're all caged in your house now, and they've got the military, police holding you inside. If you go outside, you're going to be arrested. You know, that fear of just you have to stick to your bubble. It's just a means of control. I think that was a conspiracy that was going around, how now the government has got us all, and now you've got that universal income that everyone's talking about. Do you hear about that crap?
Yeah. Socialism.
Some crap about everyone.
We're walking into communism. Yeah. And it's like, nah, we're not. We're just trying to, I don't know, save lives, you silly twat. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Everyone's so negative about it. And look what's happening in America at the moment. I mean, they've got people protesting on the streets, you know, it's our right to go back to work and all this sort of thing, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, it's your responsibility to stop people from dying too, you silly.
Totally.
But Trump's fueling it all. You know, Trump on one hand is talking on a federal level, and he's like, we've got to stay indoors, look after yourselves, distancing and all that. And then he's telling people to go against the governors who, if you're angry, don't be angry at him for doing it, be angry at your governors. Be angry, you know, and he's targeting the Democratic governors. It's weird. It is so strange. I'm like,
one of the biggest words there is accountability. Trump is accountability.
Right.
Take responsibility for your actions, I think. And he's doing that because he doesn't want threats to come up and take him out of play in November, because he's going to be re-elected soon. And he's doing that. That's a game for Trump. It's just a big game. And I know what you're saying, poor Americans. But then this is what they've done this to themselves. This whole freedom of speech, you know, this is what the country's all about. Freedom of speech. You can say what you want to say and do what you want to say. And then you've got the rights and the left and these hypersensitive people. It's just ridiculous. It's just everything just gets blown out of proportion. And you have these people saying this. And just what about back in the day? I'm watching a show at the moment. It's Mad Men. Have you seen Mad Men, that advertising show?
Fucking great show.
Yeah. Dude, there's spoiler alert. There's one bit where JFK dies, and you have the whole country. Oh,
who knew?
Ooh, sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I said spoiler alert. You should have shut your mouths. So your ears, if you heard me say that. Just don't say anything. Don't listen.
I remember that episode, though. I know the episode you're talking about. Yeah.
And you had everyone crying about that. You know, everyone was like, they were all just like, oh my God, what's going to happen? But they were all suffering as a community. You know, everyone. But nowadays, because everyone's on Twitter, everyone can have their thoughts. Everyone can put out something and their opinion about something, and it just splits everything apart. Yeah. So I just think now it's just so hard for a government. It's so hard for anyone to have just a single view of things. It used to be okay. Everyone used to think in the same way, which is great and controllable. But now everyone's out of control, tweeting about stuff, having a podcast, doing what we're doing right now. If we did this a couple of years ago, we'll be in prison. You know, so it's just everyone's just getting their freedom of speech. So I think the US just trying to, I don't know, they're just all over the show, and Trump's all over the show. That's been one of the funniest things, is just him, all the memes and all the videos of him and what he talks about.
It's bizarre. Whenever things are going good, it's like, well, it was me that started it early and it's great and all that sort of thing. And if the economy crashes because of going too early, he's like, oh, it's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault.
No,
you know, if
I
you're
never
not happy,
said
blame me. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's so fucking weird. And the things he says, too, and the way he copies whatever's just said on Fox or whatever, you know, any right-wing news medium. But, yeah, it's strange. But now more than ever, it seems to be that we need to realize that you can't please everybody. You know what I mean? Because everyone's got a platform, and there's so many platforms out there. You've just got to try and find your niche and find your people and actually entertain them. Coming from an entertainer's point of view, you're not going to be funny to everybody, you know.
Totally not.
And because everybody's so fed with their own quote unquote bubble of what they like to surround themselves with, so you've got to try and find that, you know, your way into whatever bubble that you need. Yeah, it's a weird world we live in right now. And
very weird.
I think it's unfortunate, very unfortunate, that the States, and in some ways us, but that's all by and by, but especially in the States, that this is an election year as well, because every decision's done politically. And that's and you can see it, you can smell it, and the way he talks and some of the decisions that are made. And it's like, it's not about saving lives, it's about saving votes. And that's weird.
Totally.
That is strange.
not really for politics. It's not that it doesn't interest me. It's just it's so corrupt and manipulated.
Yeah.
That again, what's the point? And they do that as well. They try to get you in this cycle and circle of not understanding and then battling opinions. And one day you're pro-Trump and then the next day you're against Trump. They just do this to keep people engaged. And I think that's basically the end of the foundation of everything is the stimulation. And that's what we need now with all this technology and stuff. Yeah. This is another way of doing it. So they're using our needs to their advantage, and giving us just all this crap. And we just are running off with it and then changing our minds. Nothing, and we just listen to crap. And I'm a sucker for it. I'm an idiot. I do the exact same thing, but then it's when you come to the point of you're talking about something, you're like how Trump or this is crap, and then all of a sudden you realize, what the hell do I know? I'm not. What am I doing here? How have I got an opinion about this? And it's just Chinese whispers over and over again.
Yeah. But this is where it's important.
That's why I say.
You go on.
That's why I say something. I joke around as well. Like I've got a mate of mine that I call Facts. And he always just comes out with factual terms, or he comes out with some sort of knowledge. And I do this group chat with some of my friends, and he comes on and starts going and starts talking about stuff. And I'm like, which Joe Rogan episode did you hear that from?
Yeah, right.
And then he just goes, dude, did you see it? Did you see it? And I'm like, mate, is that your opinion or is that his opinion? I mean, where did that come from? And he just goes, I don't know. And it's just all garbage, just recuplicate, whatever the word is, and just sent around, and everybody's just grabbing onto things. And now you got to check your facts. You got to check your sources.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's I am more inclined to believe people who, I don't know, have a degree in whatever the fuck they're talking about, or they're a scientist or whatever, and they've done the research. Totally. But it's not about, you can't just stand there and say, this is blue. I want you to break down why it's blue. And then I'm like, okay, that's blue. It's blue until somebody else tells me it's not. It's blue, and that's and that's I think is what's important for the world. But the world doesn't work like that. Everybody wants to, as you said before, everybody just wants to jump on what's convenient for them, and they want to jump on, that makes more sense to me. That's gonna benefit me in the long run, so I'm going to believe in that. But it's like that's not. No, you can't do that. The keto diet is amazing. Do the facts, find out the research, and it's going to work for you. But when you do deep research, you realize that it's not for every single person because we're all genetically different. We're all, you've got to try these things out for yourself. Diets, you've got to try out for yourself. As you well know, my friend, as you well know.
Totally, I love it. I love it, and that's part of it as well.
Yeah, but it's all about discovery. Like the world should be about discovery. It's not about adopting other people's ideas. It's about creating your own ideas based on other people's ideas. Wow, that was deep. We went there. Yeah,
that was very deep. Well done, mate. That opened up so many channels in my head. And it also comes down. It also comes down to, but then here it comes down to balance, because you could all of a sudden go, okay, and you take all this stuff and you develop your own idea of all of the information that you've got there, and then you become so stubborn and stuck in your ways that you're not changing. When a scientist comes out of nowhere and goes, oh, wait a minute, you can't be. The reason you're not the reason you're not losing weight on keto is not because of you're not sticking to the food, it's because of your blood sugar. No, it can't be. It's about the food. It's about the food because I've researched and from people who have this amount of fat, 75, and then they have a little bit of the protein and a little bit whatever carbs. So then they have that. You're like, no. But if you just listen, your blood sugar, just all you have to do is have some sweets in the morning. No, I can't because I'm keto. No, but if you just did that, you'll get your gains, So it's all about the word, which is balance.
Total balance.
And then we're suckers for it. I'm one of those pendulum swings. I'm one of those. What are those things where they got four balls and they just clickety clacketing backwards and forwards?
Let's call it the clicky balls. Clicky balls.
Yeah. The clickety balls. We've all got clickety balls. Yeah. And they just go back and forth. I'm just that thing. I can sometimes be in the middle when I'm not moving at all. The one that's in the middle that's just not moving, or I can be the one that gets hit at the end, go flying and then come back and then trying to get my way to the middle. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And then you have those people that jump on something and then they go, they don't check their facts, they go copy paste and they just chuck it on Facebook and go, look at the news I found, and everyone's like, oh my god, that's amazing, wow, and then it comes up, Facebook goes, oh wait a minute, that was all fake news, sorry, you've got one warning. Shit.
Oh, it gets me. Facebook is the worst for it though, man. If you go on Facebook too much, you will go insane, you will go crazy because of the bullshit. Dude. It's like, come on. But the thing is, it's nice to be, as I'm sure you are yourself, a self-educated kind of guy, the kind of guy that you form your own opinion based on facts, as we were talking about before, and to be able to see some of that stuff on Facebook and just go, no, that's wrong, that's not correct, and these blanket statements that people like to throw out everywhere, and it's causing problems, just left, right, and center. You know, left and right. Get it? Yeah, it's it's bizarre. How have you been entertaining yourself over this period, my friend? What have you been watching? Have you been? I mean, you got PlayStation, but I don't know shit about PlayStation. Go on.
Yeah, well, dude, mate, I just been enjoying the gaming, man, and it's been like with me and my partner, my fiance. You know, just me and her just playing a game and getting to the end of it and clocking it. Like we just sometimes spend hours.
Oh my God!
I haven't. It's so beautiful. And she's there sometimes. I'm like, I can't. Where is it? How do I get the diamond? And then she's like, oh, she's on Google trying to find it. And it's just it's a team effort.
Wow, you guys go full retard. That's amazing.
We go full retard. We never knew we had that in our relationship. But she loved PlayStations. I used to as well. But I think just work and everything took over, and it was just I couldn't have time for PlayStations.
Yeah.
But now I'm spending about 8 hours a day on it. And then it's funny, I go back to some of my teachings and some of my philosophies of the reason I gave up gaming is because it was a waste of time and it made me focus on work and instead of those 8 hours that I used to play. And I go back to, I'm like, but I've done that for like 15 years. And now I've got an opportunity to sit there playing this with my fiance, getting closer with her, working together, solving crimes, Batman or Spider-Man or, you know, killing zombies or killing, you know, it's just fun. Yeah. So that's one thing that we've been really enjoying. I've been enjoying reading, catching up with my Kindle, just getting new books, and I overloaded my Kindle. I didn't go, oh, here's one book. I went, okay, I've got 10 books here that I'm going to buy, and I bought them all, and I go, now read them. And so if I get bored of one, I'm like, no, I've got to finish it, or I just move to another one and then come back, and I've just been doing that. Fitness has been a big thing, talking to people, but I've got to a point where I'm getting fed up with talking to people. You know, you get calls every day. I'm like, look, I'm just going to stick to my bubble, stick to this area, and sometimes I'll do a face chat to someone, but there's elements that I like communicating with people that I'm missing, so I don't want to FaceTime a lot. I don't like doing that too much because I can't be there, I can't do the human connection thing, and I can't read behavior. I just feel it's just a screen, and it's just we're missing something. So I don't do that as much anymore, but cleaning the house, my partner's been just shopping for just furniture and just also planning like a wedding and just putting goals in place. So that's basically a bit of writing, just that basically.
Yeah. Nice one.
And you've done the whole DIY.
Done the DIY
videos.
thing. Well, that's not so much entertaining myself. That's just like fucking filling in time and actually doing stuff.
Yeah, gotcha.
But no, I've been back on the Netflix for a little bit, and I've been enjoying that. What's that? Did you watch that Tiger King?
Tiger King, yeah.
My God, man, that is the most fucked up. Wow, what is that all about?
Did you finish it?
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
Oh, I clocked it, my friend.
You did the whole thing?
I did the whole thing.
You did it? Okay.
You didn't finish it?
I stopped. No,
really?
I got to episode 3 and I was like, these guys are fucking idiots. Sorry for the language.
You couldn't finish it?
I couldn't finish it, man. I was like, I do not care about this baskets lady. I do not care about this gay, him and his weird things. I don't know, man. Like, I just couldn't. I just got to look. I just felt like it was just over the top. But I don't know what happened in the end. But please tell me. But
no, but that's the thing. It's over the top. It's. I can't even. I can't even. It's so over the top. It's so overt. It's so difficult to try and. You're right. It's so difficult to take seriously. But then you're watching it and you realize that these guys are serious because they're people around them. Like that documentary maker was sort of a vehicle through the bullshit. And when you listen to him and you listen to how what was unfolding, and there were a couple of characters on there that seemed relatively normal, and then all this other stuff that was just happening around them, it was just, you can't write this shit. This stuff is amazing. It's remarkable. I recommend finishing it if you get a chance.
Okay,
finish it.
I'll try.
I'm trying to remember what happens in the end. I know I know what happened. I can remember what happens in the end, so I won't tell you. But it's good. It is good, and there's some results for some people, and there isn't for other people, and it's.
Okay.
It's just
I'll give it a go. I'll
weird.
finish it off.
The funny thing is about it.
I want to watch the
funny thing is about it. You can talk to people about it, and you're still only scratching the surface of what actually happened because there's only so much you can remember. And then you're like, oh my God, that happened as well. It's a good watch. I tried Ozark as well. You watched that?
Yeah, I did watch the first season, and then I got bored on the second, and I just stopped. Mate, when it gets... This is the thing, there's so much content out there that if you get bored, I just go... I give it a chance, I give it a shot, but then I just move on to something else.
There's something else out there.
I watched The Outsider. That was something that I finished. The Outsider is based on a Stephen King book.
Oh, yeah.
That was quite interesting. That's got... What's his name? Middleton, who is an Australian actor. Ben Middleton. Ben.
Oh, Ben Middleton.
Ben Middleton. Yeah. So he's been in Star Wars. He was in Animal Kingdom, the first ever movie. He's an amazing actor, man.
He's the bad guy in Star Wars, eh? He's got
the new ones, yeah. The
amazing face on him, eh? Yeah. Oh, he's in a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
He was in also that family drama with I can't think what it is, but yeah, he's been in so much stuff, man. I've been watching his career like a hawk ever since he did Animal Kingdom. I was like, this guy, because he was a kid actor, and then he stopped working from 16 years old, and he didn't do a single thing till he got to 54, from 16 years old to 54, and then he went boom. That's when he did Animal Kingdom, and he's just been... No, so it can't be 54. No, it was 44. And then boom, and now he's just constantly working. He pops up everywhere. He loses weight. Bloodline, that was a show that he was in, and he played the weird brother. Yeah.
But that's right. Dude, he was also in that Spielberg movie.
Yes. Player one.
Player one? Yeah,
Player One.
He was in that. Yeah. Oh, he's brilliant. He's so good. Look, when he was in Rogue One, the bad guy in that, he was so brilliant. Solid acting.
Oh, mate. He's ridiculous. So I finished a show called Outsider. But again, it's like Stephen King. The story is, it just keeps you involved, and you're there the whole time. It's such a great idea, the characters, the story arc. And then you're on the last episode, 3 minutes till it finishes, and then who wrote the ending? What happened? It makes no sense.
Right.
He does that to every show. I don't know about it. I haven't seen it, but he's done that to so many movies and TV shows. Everything is so good. You're on the edge of your seat, and then at the end, it just completely changes, and it's one of the worst endings. He can't finish. I hope his wife says that sometimes.
I tell you, another director who I watch his movies, and they're all amazing movies, but they're all stylistically amazing. Edgar Wright, right? Stylistically, his movies are amazing. So Shaun of the Dead, that series of films, and then he did Baby Driver. He did, a bunch of things. I love his movies, right? They're great, but they never quite finish well for me. Like, they've always got a good idea. Shaun of the Dead, what if two guys didn't realize they're surrounded by zombies? Hilarity for the first 2 acts. And then it's like, oh, how do we finish this story? And I always found that the stories sort of lack a good ending. Baby Driver was the same. Amazing idea, some cool visuals and some cool stuff. But I just thought the ending was a bit, could have been better.
It's weird. It's like he's got a really good concept, and he's got a really good character arc and development, and then all of a sudden he just doesn't know how to wrap it up. It's like, it's one of those people, because he's a judge on the 48 Hours that just happened over the weekend in New Zealand. There's the 48 Hours. Yeah, so he's one of the judges on there, and I mean, that's got nothing to do with anything, but I mean, he's very close to home, basically, a couple of degrees of separation here. But so that's what I feel like. He just doesn't. It's a great idea, a good concept, and then he just needs someone. He should just hire someone to finish his scripts for him. I don't see why people don't do that more often. I think it's an ego thing. If you're good at something, but then if you've seen in 5 films that you've recently done, you're getting the same feedback, and the critics are saying you can't finish, or you're good at concept, good at this, but then just hire someone. There's so many people out there, and I would do that. It would help me. It would also take a lot off me. I wouldn't have to work as hard. And because you can't, and because that's the thing, I would do that.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's the same. Like all these comedians now, they do the same thing. They hire people, they hire writing groups to help them do their comedy. Kevin Hart does that. Every single stand-up he does, he has 10 people that work with him. That was another documentary that I saw, or it was something about Kevin Hart. That was quite funny and quite interesting, and it just shows you perspective of how much of an idiot Kevin Hart is. But I also felt that it was good that he came out and did that. He's human after all.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I like Kevin Hart. I got nothing against Kevin Hart at all for what he did or anything like that. That was a long time ago. We thought differently back then.
Oh, dude.
People. And I think back then people didn't fathom what it was they were doing when they tweeted stuff. They didn't realize that. This was, 10, 11 years ago. People didn't realize that sticks now. You've just thrown shit against the wall. It's not going anywhere. And so people just spoke their minds without really thinking about what they were thinking about, and they did that. And it was a joke. It wasn't serious. It wasn't like he was a redneck saying, I'm going to go out and blow up, something. He was just genuinely kidding. And I'm sure he didn't seriously mean anything in things that he said. Because you look at him now and he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Totally.
Him and the Rock
It's
should just
such
be
a shame.
president and vice president together. Be great.
I mean, we could be not far off from that. That's for damn sure. And I agree with that as well. Like, how could you be held accountable for something that you did as a joke 10 years ago, which has got nothing to do with the recent times? How can you be held responsibility? Because that means that you can't do anything because you're fearful that in 10 years' time, the thing that you're joking about is going to be that sensitive topic. You can't do that. And with like comedians through time, they use current affairs as jokes. Like when the World Trade Center thing happened, that didn't stop comedians coming up with concepts and ideas and jokes. And Louis C.K. had a very funny joke about the towers, and so did Bill Burr. There's a lot of these comedians that did, but then at the same time, like, ooh, too soon. But now it's like, oh, that needs to be deleted. You can't say that. Well, what? The towers aren't there anymore. Why are we? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Exactly. It's all the context in which when you say things. What are you meaning by what you're saying? It's a joke. It's clearly a joke. It's there to make people laugh. Not everybody's going to find it funny. This is what I was saying before about it's like you've got, don't try to please everybody because you're not, especially with humor. You're going to say some dumb shit and you're going to offend people, and so be it. But also, for every one person you offend, 2 people are going to think it's the funniest shit ever. So
totally.
It's just go. Otherwise, you're going to be always second guessing yourself. And I think this is what New Zealanders do really well. We second guess ourselves way too much. We're thinking too much about what everybody's thinking instead of like what your audience is thinking about. And we're always second guessing it, and the jokes never quite land. This is where Taika, dickhead. This is where I hate Taika because I don't hate him. I think he's done a remarkable job.
Interesting. Let's go into this. Why do you hate him? What
I don't hate him. It's just like I watch his trajectory and what he's done, and I'm like, dude, there's no reason why I or some of my other friends couldn't have done the same thing. It's just we were too lazy. So I look at him with envy. It's an envy. It's a joking envy. That I'm like, dude, you made 48-hour films 15, 17 years ago, whatever it was when we started. And now look at you. And now I look at him and I'm like, what? We all could have done that. We all had the opportunity to do that, but didn't do it. Anyway.
No, but it's good on him. For me, it's that thing. It's like good on him. And I sometimes have that with comedians that do very well. But then you've only got a limited amount of time when you're doing comedy and humor. And it depends what angle you've gone down, but you have to just keep on it. But then Taika, the good thing about him is, I mean, he's kept quite, let's say, loyal to New Zealand because he can't go anywhere else. Like, he's not a Russell Crowe. He's not a white man that's gone to Hollywood and going, I'm New Zealand. He's Maori, so he looks that. So he can't really go, no, I'm actually secretly white and Jewish, which he is Jewish, but he's not white. But I mean, like, he stood faithful to New Zealand, and he's gone, I'm supporting New Zealand. And that's what New Zealanders do. Like, we always go, if someone does something really well outside and then is getting successful, we're like, cool. And if he's supporting New Zealand, great. Like Joseph Parker, but the boxer. But then as soon as Joseph Parker goes, I'm going to sign with a UK and not fight in New Zealand anymore, everyone goes, oh, you've betrayed us.
Yeah, sold out.
You've destroyed us. You've sold us out. You leave. You're not a Kiwi anymore. So if Taika did that, he wouldn't have a nation behind him because New Zealanders are very flaky. And if a Kiwi gets offended, he goes. But I think Taika's, he's just an amazing guy. I think his personality is one of the things which kept him going and why Hollywood like him. It's because he is that quirky, weird man and so creative, but at the same time so humbly funny and stupid all the time that he doesn't offend people. And if he did offend, it's like a Ricky Gervais type thing. Like Ricky can go and say something about a kid that's in a wheelchair and and call it, I'm not going to say it, but, just make fun of him, or a little ginger, a little fat kid, and call him something, a C word, and doesn't get in trouble for it. But then if let's say George Bush or some other comedian like Louis C.K. did that, it would just not go down as well, especially Louis C.K. right now, who's on the forefront of just coming out with a comedy, and everyone's like, oh, you can't be doing that, don't support that guy. Have you seen that? Have you seen any of that sort of stuff going on? Louis C.K.'s comedy? Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But now, I was saying before about Tiger, it's just like New Zealanders are, we're kind of flaky with our ideas because we don't back them, whereas he's a guy who's just like backed his ideas 100% across the board.
Totally.
And it's worked. And because he has the confidence in what he's creating, that's why he's succeeding. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of New Zealanders just don't truly back themselves, and it just falls flat sometimes. Not all the time, sometimes. Yeah. It's a funny world. So what's next for you, man? Like, let's wrap this baby up. What's next for you? What are you hoping to do?
Having so much fun.
When you come out of this, this could end up being a half-hour conversation in itself. When we come out of this, what are you wanting to achieve? And has any of it changed because of what's been going on?
Yeah, man, I think when I come out of this, I think for me, I'm just going to take it day by day as it is. So for me, I haven't put too many goals in play. Like, there's so much I wanted to do. I was supposed to be in Europe, for God's sake, so everything's just turned on its head. I mean, at the end of the year, I would like to go to the UK. I wanted to go to Germany in August. But for me, I can't do that. My plans were quite global. I wanted to go do some other stuff. I also was going to go to Australia to do a TV show in June. Not happening anymore. So mate, I'm just going to come out of this. I'm going to focus on my art. I'm going to focus on my craft. I'm going to just appreciate being with people more, do more with people. But then at the same time, I'm going to stay at home more as well. At the same time, I'm going to find that balance. I want to be doing more at home. I want to wake up. I want to work out from home. I'm not going to go to the gym anymore. I think maybe after today and the beginning of this week, I thought a couple of weeks ago, I'm not going to go to the gym. But then just the last couple of days, I'm like, damn, I wish I could do a heavy deadlift, or I could do a heavy bench.
Yeah, that's just it.
Or something. That's the thing. But I've got my equipment here. I just need to go heavier. But then I think also the thing about gyms is the people, the competition, the competitive nature is quite fun as well.
Yeah.
But so for me, I'm just gonna try to build some more things, just develop my business in a way, make my monetary stuff happen from home. Like, I'm gonna set up my partner she wants to do more of an online presence, an online business. So that's something that we're looking at, just doing it more like that, spending more time at home, baby making, maybe have a kid.
Oh, stop it. Breed.
Yeah, so there's that sort of stuff, breeding it out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And just focus on the art, man. Like, I want to do more stuff with yourself. I want to do more creative stuff. I want to build. But then at the same time, no, I'm not working today. I'm taking today off,
Yeah.
That.
Nice.
That's what I want. Yeah. What about you?
Do it, About me. I don't know. Like, I've been trying to nut it out. Like, the funny thing was, for me, I did that fucking bachelorette shit, and I got myself a bit of a following.
Woo!
And I was starting to get really good traction. Like, my brand was going well as doing the entertainment stuff and doing what's the word? Anyway, I hate the word influencing. That's not the word I want to use. But just
well, that's
getting
what it
out
is,
there.
Though. That's what it is.
It is what it is to a degree, and I'm enjoying getting out there and actually making projects that I enjoy doing. I'm not just doing phone shit. I'm doing something a little bit more than that. So that just sort of started taking off for myself and a few others who are involved with the show. And then Corona happens and everything just gets, it's almost like we've been go from scratch, starting again. So it was important for me to do some of those self-motivated jobs over this period that I've been doing and making these little videos and just building the brand, not building the bank flow, the cash flow, I can tell you that much, but certainly building a brand for myself and a persona.
Totally.
No, I wouldn't mind. I don't know, just trying for more. Really, just I've still got a bit of a presence, so if I can turn that into something, maybe jump on a show, host something, maybe just create some of my own content, some of my own little mini documentary is something I want to get into again, and actually hosting some of those and creating something like that, and hopefully proving that I can do that, and just focusing a bit more on that sort of thing while making money doing voices on the side as well. So fingers crossed that sort of takes off. But it was a bit of a bummer for everyone involved with that show. They all thought that it was going to be a bit of a cash cow and they'd be able to turn themselves into influencers and all that sort of shit. But it just the wind completely got taken out of the sails of it. So Never mind.
So, but I think you might realize the thing is in this time. We're not going to keep going. We're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to go into this.
No,
but if you look at what's happening in the scope of the influencers, they're getting hit very hard. So I think this is also going to bring not only yourself just starting out, all the bachelor guys. I mean, that whole thing, influencers, can be very short-lived. You can be in and out like that, especially in New Zealand. It's got a tendency to just, you're there and then you get washed out. Yeah. But I think if you leave something behind, which I think you did compared to everybody else, I think you had a bit of a more presence, you got more experience. Yeah. I feel that after this, it will come back more, and I think people are going to have more opportunities. And you look at the moment, like I'm at the moment doing shit on, I'm doing stuff on TikTok. I'm making more videos. I've been on TikTok for a while, but you're starting to notice there's a bit of a change happening in social media as well, and the way that content, and like I'm getting censored a bit on Instagram and on Facebook, but then on TikTok you're not. You're being able to be a bit more creative. So you're seeing some influencers on there that are getting millions of followers, millions of views. Like my stuff's getting millions of views, but you're not being influential as much. You're just basically just being yourself and being allowed to be you. So if people are like that, because in the past it's like, oh, look at my new Beats by Dre that I got given, you know. Now you don't have to do that. I support this or not. I got this. Is it good? No, I prefer Apple. But you know, it's just that's what it is. So I think it's not going to be brand focused, and you know, you can make your own stuff up. And I think that's where we're starting to move down, which is quite exciting, and I enjoy doing that stuff. So
that's cool. I might have a look at TikTok. I've avoided it's the wrong word, but it's just never really been in my periphery. I've seen it being involved with the show, and you know, as much as social media is a big part of being on a reality TV show. So I do know of it. I've seen things on it, and I joined it to have a look, and it never floated me. But I didn't really take it very seriously, so maybe take another look at it.
Yeah, but again, it's a different medium as well. Like a lot of people go, it's for kids, but no, there's a lot of people out there. It's just about it's the best way of getting traction. Yeah. It's the best way of getting followers and likes, but also getting interactions. Like it's having that thing that you're doing something and you're getting what's the word I'm looking for? You're basically getting gratification. You're getting gratification for your work. There's sometimes you post things on Facebook and stuff, but because it's been so censored and pushed aside, only 40% are. This is all organic reach and everything. So there are some kids that are dancing, lip syncing, and there are some times you're going to be called a boomer. But then at the same time, it doesn't matter because you can do whatever you want and you're just getting traction, and that converts into everything else. So it's just a boost, really, if you can get the views and if you can find the right sort of medium. And it also gets you to focus on yourself. How am I going to make some comedy videos, or how am I going to get some traction? And it turns into a game. So for me, I love social intimacy. No, I enjoy social stuff, and for me, it's tech related. I really like my tech, and I like to see what's out there. And how do I get on top of that? And how do I find little ways of getting views and stuff? And that for me becomes a game. So I enjoy it. But then again, it's not for everyone. It is what it is,
Yeah. Oh, I might have another look at it and try it out. I used to do, was it Dub Smash? Remember Dub Smash?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that was fun.
Short-lived.
I enjoyed that.
It was fun.
It didn't last long though, because someone jumped on and went, "Oh, actually, we're going to just take away all of these videos and shit because you haven't got any rights for them." So it all sort of crashed and burned. But it was a lot of fun when it was out. It was great.
Yeah, totally. It's fun. And this is a good, like TikTok, there's also a lot of music. So people are getting traction for their tracks through people mimicking TikTok. So it's all about rights, but then it's from the artist's point of view, because artists are going to TikTok and going, use my stuff, make this a trend, because it's going to get into millions of people. People are going to be doing things with it, and they don't care about copyrights because they're getting the exposure. It's just so it just works in their favor. And now you listen to the radio, dude. If you spend a month on TikTok and watch it every single day, which I don't recommend doing, but if you do that, you'll notice all the music that's on the radio right now is TikTok related.
Is that right?
It's everything that you hear on TikTok. I listen to the radio sometimes. Yeah. And when I go, I'm like, oh, there's a TikTok. Then I start doing the dance. Whoa, I'm doing all this stuff to that song because that's what people do in the thing, and and it's just ridiculous. My partner's a dancer, so she's trying to get me to do some TikTok things, but I'm like, nah, I don't like it. I don't dance. I don't dance for TikTok. But so you'll notice that it's people are getting traction through TikTok, music-wise. There's all celebrities on there, but the thing is, celebrities aren't gaining a lot because they're celebrities and they're not doing the TikTok stuff. They're just producing their own material that they use on Instagram and all the other stuff. So they come on TikTok, they get a few thousand views and a few thousand likes and a few thousand followers, but they're not doing anything, so then people don't like watching them. So they prefer to listen to people that are TikTok famous. So it's quite interesting to see celebrities come on and then they can't do anything, or that it's very competitive. So they get drowned out, which is quite interesting as well.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Yeah, it's weird because I've never really been in the whole social media thing. You know, I started off with like 500 followers or whatever on Instagram, and now I've got almost 4,000, which is fun, I guess. But it's just... now I've got to how do I take advantage of this? And my agent's like, you got to try this, you got to do this. And I'm like, it just sounds like more hard work. But it is. Yeah. I mean, anybody can find themselves luckily enough to be on a TV show, which is watched, got a big following and all that, but you've still got to do the work. You still got to do it. And it's just like, is it something that you want to be involved with? Is it something you want to do? Yeah.
That's it. Balancing it out. Do you want to be Taika Waititi, or what do you want to do?
Tiger or Kardashian? Tiger or Kardashian? Oh, tricky choice.
That's a hard one. That's a tricky one, isn't it?
Oh, it's funny, bro. Anyway, my man, thank you very much. I might we'll wrap it up there. I think I'm actually getting a little bit peckish. So
actually, same as well,
mate. Thank you very much for tapping in and coming and having some fun and proving that this remote version of what we do actually works. And it's good to hear about how you've been surviving through all this. And I think you're in a similar ilk to what I am. I've been doing it for a bit longer than I have, though. So, it's always good to compare and catch up and have a yarn.
Totally, mate. Totally. Well, thank you again for having me on your show. I enjoy coming on. I love having you on my show. I love being in your presence. So this was great. Man. And as soon as we get out of this, or if we don't, let's just do this again and just keep it going because, people love it. So thank you very much for having me on the show. It was awesome.
No worries. Thanks, man. See you soon.
Cheers, mate. Bye.